Hey everybody, welcome back for some daily inspiration. In my last video, I spoke about men and women in Jewish prayer, the differences. And it came down to a difference in spirituality between men and women. And again, this is a generalization, but it's a true generalization. It's not every man and woman, but in general, women are more spiritual beings more than men, and therefore prayer is mandatory in Jewish law for men that need that prayer in order to connect with God, in order to take a stop, in order to focus on the fact that they are not responsible for everything, as opposed to women who prayer is not mandatory for women because they don't need it in order to connect with God and work on themselves, etc. So a number of people reached out to me and asked me just for a little more clarification on why this difference. So I think it's very simple, and I'll just explain it to you, and hopefully this will help more people better understand this difference between men and women, why Jewish law makes it mandatory for men to pray 3 times a day, and it's only optional for women. And again, it goes down into a very well documented and understood generalized difference between men and women. Women are more natural givers, right? That's why women were made to be the mothers. Women think about others more naturally and are more giving in their attitude more naturally than men are. Women are more team players, less self-centric. So for those reasons, they already have attributes that allow themselves to realize they are not solely responsible for their lives. They're not self-centric. And it's an understanding that there are greater powers and others out there that help make things happen. As opposed to men. Men are more self-centric, less natural givers. Therefore, prayer, men have to stop 3 times a day in order to focus and realize, oh my God, there's a God out there who has a responsibility, who has stake in the game for everything I'm doing. My life is not just about me and what I am accomplishing. Prayer, this stopping in the morning before we start our day, stopping in the middle of our day, before we go to bed at the end of the day, is in order for anybody, but especially for a man, to internalize and realize that life is not just about me. Life is not about everything I do and I accomplish. It's about taking the ego out and putting it aside and taking in that there is a bigger universe out there. There is a God out there responsible for things. There are other people who I'm supposed to be thinking about and taking care of, and stopping the self-centric view, which is, again, generalized attribute for men as opposed to women. And prayer is something that God gives us to help us connect with Him, to help us be better people. And as I said in the last video, for women, it's optional. Of course, it's wonderful to pray. It's wonderful to use prayer to be thankful. It's wonderful to use prayer to request things of God. And we always have to remember, sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes God's answer is no. But the reason Judaism and Jewish law has this difference, that for men it is mandatory to pray, but for women it is only optional and not mandatory, is because of the basic differences that God created between men and women. Women don't need prayer, don't need to stop their lives 3 times a day to bring God into their lives, to be less self-centric, to be more giving, whereas prayer is something men do need in order to develop those aspects of their personalities. That's it. I hope that gave a little better understanding and insight into the Jewish understanding and the differences between prayer for men and women in Jewish law. Shalom, everyone. Thanks for watching. This is Avi Abelo from IsraelUnwired.com here in the united and undivided capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem.